This semester was very eye-opening for me, learning about the various aspects of the criminal justice system, the history of the struggle of African Americans, and being able to go inside and meet the residents of the Crane House all helped to give me a broader perspective of the field I plan on entering and the world in general. The criminal justice system disadvantages minorities in a huge way. According to a recent study, African Americans are incarcerated at around 6 times the rate of whites. Michelle Alexander's The New Jim Crow talks about the mass incarceration epidemic and how the African American community makes up nearly 40% of the prison population, while only totaling around 12% of the general U.S. population. The criminal justice system is basically flawed from the ground up, with racial biases programmed into the minds of police officers, judges, and jurors. These biases come from centuries of racial injustice and can only be changed through education and time. Starting with the war on drugs, launched by Nixon, re-energized by Reagan, there has been a 500% increase in incarceration rates. This rise in incarceration affects a disproportionate number of minorities. The impact of incarceration on these people lasts well beyond their sentence, with the stigma of convict following them around forever. Convicts don't really ever get a chance to reintegrate into society. The community turns a blind eye to these offenders, not noticing or caring about all the hardships they endure while they try to re-enter. Offenders face a mountain of challenges. For example, they receive far less job opportunities. There has been efforts to combat this. The Ban the Box movement is a protest to remove the box to ask about prior convictions on job applications, so these people are judged on their character and qualifications rather than their past mistakes. The movement gained steam during the recent recession, but the fight to ban the box resumes. Most importantly, however, convicts in some states are permanently denied arguably the most important constitutional right, the right to vote. With the large discrepancies between the incarcerated whites and blacks, you can see the parallel between mass incarceration and the Jim Crow laws that suppress the minority vote. Mass incarceration really is systematic racism, keeping whites dominant. Starting with the institution of slavery, African Americans have been highly disenfranchised. Throughout the years, they have experienced discrimination in almost every aspect of life. Trains, restaurants, and water fountains, all separated because of race. African Americans have come a long way from being considered property, but they are still targeted by law enforcement and receive harsher punishments. They may not be bound by chains anymore, but they are bound by handcuffs and prison bars. This STEAM learning community has given me a better understanding of the system I am going into and the people I will be working with. The Crane House in particular provided a true glimpse as to what at least part of the system is truly like. I believe all of this will help me become a more well-rounded police officer in the future, and I'm grateful to have these experiences.